This is Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff with no Alex.
Sad face.
Guess we call this our Halloween episode.
I know. At least Alex sent in a good selfie for those watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you don't watch on YouTube, make sure you get there. Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff. Subscribe, comment, rate, review, poke, like, tickle.
Get the bell on.
Do all the things. Alex not here. Nate's here. Jim's here. And Muff is here. I'm here. On this, guys, our 299th episode.
Ooh, so the betting show will be episode 300. We've been doing this 300. Well, we'll be doing this 300 times.
Yeah.
Don't miss out, Alex.
Come on. If Alex misses the betting episode, I think Alex is in a bad place. Nate, you gonna be available Wednesday night for that?
Should be.
All right.
Man, I feel like you should.
Nate's coming in.
Yeah, there's no more under varsity for me. All I've got are Friday nights the rest of the year.
300 episodes.
All right. And we're gonna try to come at you live as well.
Are we?
Live Wednesday night for the Thursday podcast.
Wow.
On YouTube.
Wow.
That's the hope.
You know what? I might help you advertise this. I've been slacking for a little over a year in the anything podcast related. I might help you push this one.
All right. Today is Monday, October 28th. And as always, we're going to get through what happened in the football world over the weekend. The good, the bad, the ugly, our winners, our losers from the college football world, along with what happened in the NFL, including a dramatic ending to the Commanders
Bum, 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 bum.
and Bears game, pitting top draft picks against each other, and it was a hell of an ending.
Yeah.
Our weekly betting episode, as has been discussed, will be the 300th episode of Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff. So don't forget about that. It'll be available on all the platforms Thursday morning, but again, hoping to come out to you live on Wednesday night with our recording.
That's wild. 300. I can't get over it. I'm still kind of like, wow, shocked.
We'll also get into some other interesting news in sports, including baseball, hockey, some basketball chat, and NASCAR.
A little bit of NASCAR, just a skosh.
Just a bit. So without any further ado, let's get into NFL Week 8.
We can track ourselves, but don't ask us to track the football week.
Week 8, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it is week 8.
All right.
Because they're a week behind college football, right?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And we're on week 9 on college football.
So before we get into some discussion on the NFL world, did anybody see the stat that came out about the amount of Uncrustables that NFL teams consume throughout a season?
It's a lot of Uncrustables.
80,000 Uncrustables a season by NFL teams, some more than others. So I posed to the group, how many Uncrustables do you think within a regular diet, like not that you're trying to get to a certain number, but that you think you could eat in a given year?
In a year, right?
In a year, yeah.
Well, I know I could eat or should eat. So you're saying
no, within the course of like your regular diet, if you just were more intentional about having Uncrustables like available at your disposal whenever you would like one.
I could probably eat 365.
One a day.
For sure.
I'd say about 200.
I'm going to go with somewhere in the 250 range. I think like 5 a week. I think I could easily make that happen.
Now, which flavor are you guys? Are you grape jelly or strawberry jelly Uncrustable guys? Or do you have
I would have to mix if I'm going to try to do this intentionally.
I'm pretty exclusively grape jelly.
I would take strawberry over grape.
All right. So it was interesting. I saw that and I was like, huh. I wonder if they had. I'm assuming there's some type of partnership.
The
I would
official
hope,
peanut butter jelly sandwich of the NFL.
right? I would hope if they're going to tout that,
There's probably some kind of scientific thing to it too.
the peanut butter and the proteins, along with the sugars and the jellies.
Yeah.
I
It's just something quick and easy you can grab.
Also true. All right, we did have a trade in the NFL over this past week as the Titans traded D-Hop to the Kansas City Chiefs for a conditional fifth-round pick that could become a fourth.
Of course.
This is what
That
happens. The
happened.
Chiefs just find a way to, we expect, improve their wide receiving core. I feel like DeAndre Hopkins is a significant upgrade to previous additions like Kadarius Toney.
Yeah.
So, and they only had to give up a fourth or fifth round pick depending on how things go. So I think that's worth it.
I watched a little bit of that game today, and he did have a few catches, I believe. Still not used to. I said, "Who the hell is number 8 coming out in the field right now?"
Yeah, and we'll get into it, but yeah, he could have had Mason Rudolph thrown to him.
Yeah.
He chose Patrick Mahomes. All right, NFL Week 8. First, get into the Thursday slate as the Rams give the Vikings their second straight loss, 30-20 in Thursday Night Football. And add insult to injury, the Vikings lose offensive lineman Christian Darrisaw for the season due to a knee injury.
I was shocked by this. I don't know if anybody else was, but I was shocked by this. Did not see the Vikings losing.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I'm not going to say that I was surprised of the outcome. A little less surprised, or I expected a more competitive game no matter what when Puka Nacua was designated to come back and play.
That's
Mhm.
fair. That's fair.
So, but I still was surprised by the outcome. I thought the Vikings were still going to win. So, we'll see. I mean, this may be what gets the Rams going in the right direction with Nacua back, Kupp now out of the trade rumors, and Kyron Williams just continues to do his thing. So we may see a different Rams team over the next 5 to 6 weeks, barring any injuries. But what do we think about the Vikings now after 2 straight losses?
I mean, they're still at top of their division, I believe, them in Detroit. So I don't think it's time for them to panic by any means, but kind of need to have one of those like come to Jesus moments, like, hey, we're really good the first month of the year. Now we need to kind of have a reality check and get back on track. But I also think they've been overachieving.
Yeah, I think they've had one of the easier schedules in the NFL to this point. So that's definitely, I think, part of the equation. So we'll see what happens when they get a little bit more into, I guess, the teeth of their schedule and in division games. Jim, any thoughts?
I would line up pretty close to what Nate said.
All right. Next, we have the Eagles. Fly, Eagles fly all the way to a 37-17 win over Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Nick Sirianni and the Eagles trending in the right direction. Devontae Smith has a good game. Jalen Hurts, I think, had 1 or 2 rushing touchdowns. And the Eagles get the dub.
And my understanding is this is the first time Hurts has beat Joey B. From what I saw on a social media, not the TikTok. So I don't know if it's true, which is why I'm
Oh, so
hesitant.
we just blindly accept TikTok is true, but we
TikTok is
don't.
true, but I don't. Other sources, I don't know.
What source was this, Jim?
I think it was an Instagram post.
So you
Now, is this
trust?
like going back to them at college?
Yeah,
I was going to say how many times they really played each other in the NFL.
I think maybe once or twice, but I think it was the LSU Obama situation, and might even include Ohio State Bama, maybe, as they were both at that point probably both on the bench or backup.
But yeah, I don't think he played him when he was at Oklahoma, but don't quote me on
Yeah, I don't know.
that.
All right. Bengals down. We just raiding the
Joey
boss
B.
now.
Joey B has set out a goal for 10 wins. I'm not ready to put him in the dirt when he comes out and says something like that.
How many losses do they have right now?
I don't know. But when he makes a claim like that, I feel like he knows what he's talking about more than I do. So
I don't know. We'll see. This game did have identical twins playing against each other for the first time in NFL history as the Eagles' Sidney Brown and the Bengals' Chase Brown squared off. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool fun fact.
Do we know what position Sidney Brown plays for the Eagles?
I
Do
do
we
not
know?
know.
So I know Chase Brown for the Bengals is a running back. I just wonder if like they had to actually go against each other.
they have to win out now, Muff. They're 3-5.
Uh, 10 wins. They do not have to win out. They can go 10 and they can go 7-2.
Remember, Jim, 17 games.
Thank you. Wait, I thought they're wait. If they're 3-5,
Means they have 9 games left.
And they need to win 7 of them to get to 10 wins.
oh, thank you, math.
Gotcha.
You only need to win 7 of them. Thank
Fight.
you.
At least 7. I mean, they can be better than that if they can. I think that's a tough ask, especially since they have not played, I think, any in division games yet.
One.
No, I think
One.
they played the Browns once.
Yeah.
There's one win.
But yeah, they still got to play Pittsburgh twice. I don't know about Baltimore.
3, 4, 5. 5 I can see. Not more than that without really getting better quick.
All right. In an in division matchup in the AFC North, we had the Browns take down the Ravens 29-24 behind Jameis Winston, who gets the start, eats a W, gets the W, and then says Eminem was his inspiration.
I don't think we should give a lot of weight to what that man says on a microphone. Like, I'm not going to make fun of him. I'm not going to take him serious. I'm just going to let him be. I think we should view him how you view TikTok.
Fair.
I don't think he's a troll. He says things to get clicks, to get people
I
to
don't know
talk
that
about
that's
it.
true. I don't know that that's true. I would debate you on that.
I can't remember what player it was that said whenever he comes into the huddle, it's like he's got a secret to tell everybody.
Yeah.
I just don't. He's got a brick shy of a full load. I don't think he's right up there.
This was the first game with Ken Dorsey calling the plays and not Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski. Obviously, that worked out well. Maybe Stefanski is part of the problem as far as the offensive play calling. So that mixed with James getting the start. Obviously, the Browns get for them an impressive win, 29-24 over the Ravens.
I think this is more of a push the panic button on the Ravens than it is yay for the Browns.
Well, for the Browns, of course it's your second win of the year.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's more of a panic like for the Ravens.
Yeah, and like when I look
what did we do?
Well, and both teams had multiple opportunities for interceptions. They go right through their hands. And who was it? Lamar was on a scramble, threw it back across the middle of the field, hit a dude right in the chest, and he dropped it. Justin Tucker missed another field goal today. And then I think, as I looked at the box score, I'm like, Derrick Henry, I think, only had 11 carries.
Yeah, I think I saw something at one point. I looked at the box score and he had less than 10, and I was like, what? What are we doing? I mean, if we're going to limit his carries and that's part of the strategy, then okay, but
I mean, I think
you don't want to lose in division to the Browns.
No, you still need to give him the rock like 15 times a game.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I guess we'll see if the Ravens bounce back, and we'll see if the Browns are able to continue this in their next game. Next, we have the Lions absolutely destroying the Titans 52-14. As I mentioned, Mason Rudolph gets the start for the Titans. And the only negative I can see for the Lions is that they had a player suspended this past week, as Jameson Williams was suspended again, this time though for the PED policy and not for the gambling policy.
I mean, that's already his second strike with them, right? As far as suspensions.
I don't think they count the PEDs with the personal conduct, though.
No, but I mean, as far as like Lions ownership, like,
They don't give a shit, Nate.
so if you had a guy on your team suspended for, was it for gambling, and he had to miss a whole year, then
You're
now he
asking the wrong
he
guy.
drugs.
You're asking the wrong guy. I'm not Alex. You're asking the wrong. I would not give a shit. Does he win? Put him in. I don't care.
I don't know. The only other thing, again, looking at box scores for this game, Goff was under 100 yards passing.
Yeah.
I mean, the Lions had I think they had a good, they get a punt return for a touchdown.
They did.
And they turned the ball over they had the Titans turn the ball over a decent bit. So, this was
Titans. I'm sorry, Muff. Go ahead.
no, you're good. I was gonna say it was a good game in all phases for the Lions on this one.
Do you think the Titans miss Vrabes?
I think they have to be considering it at this point, but given their roster, I mean, I don't think he could have done much more.
Okay, that's fair.
I think they probably miss Derrick Henry more than they miss Mike Vrabel
Yeah.
at this moment.
Probably.
All right. Next, we had Tua Tagovailoa returning for the Dolphins, but they cannot find a way to get a win against the Cardinals.
A lot of praise on it.
27.
A lot of praise on Tua protecting himself.
Yeah, I saw the one scramble he had when he actually slid. The whole crowd goes, "Hey!"
And he says, "I'm just going to avoid big hits if I can. Sometimes they're unavoidable." No shit, dummy.
I know I saw a thing that said this is the Dolphins' first game scoring 20 points or more this year.
I mean, yeah, I guess Tyreek Hill finally got back in the game a little bit. Raheem Mostert had a touchdown run. I didn't watch any of this game. I think the Cardinals scored late to go up. So, I mean, I don't think this is the worst. I mean, losing is not a great outcome, but I think the Dolphins at least are back in competition.
Yeah, they actually had a competitive game.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still what, like 2-6 now, or
Right. They got to go on a Joe Burrow promise type of run here, but at least this promises for them to be in more games.
And Miami's ownership has a history of tanking. So,
what is it? What would you tank for now? You tanking for who?
I mean, better medics.
I think they can do that without tanking, Jim.
I don't know. I mean, a quarterback who's not going to like have to be spoon-fed pudding here in a month.
So you think they're going to tank for a quarterback?
I mean, it would be bad to have an insurance policy.
If you had a tank for a quarterback right now, Jim, who are you tanking for?
Again, I think any alternative right now to Jello Man is okay.
Have you watched their last few games?
Yeah, but we get a decent quarterback.
Bring home Ryan Tannehill.
There's an option. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. We're just glad Tua made it through the game. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we have the Patriots beating the Jets 25-22. Drake May goes out in this one with a hit that the internet is sort of outraged about. Nate, I know you had some comment on your thoughts on this hit, no call, and I'll add an additional question to you in this. Do you think that there will be a fine?
No, I do not foresee a fine, but the NFL is so fine happy, anything is possible. So on that hit in question, he's hit from behind in the helmet as he's beginning his slide. So I personally supported the no foul there just because the player was already initiated in the tackle as the slide was beginning. It wasn't late. I don't think it was a dirty hit by any means. But did he go helmet to helmet? Slightly. I mean, we've seen a hell of a lot worse.
Yeah. Yeah. Internet's going to be a little outraged because it's something that there is a helmet to the helmet. The player did go out. And the week 2 is coming back. So all of that is, I think, all legitimate here. The Jets lose their 5th straight game. I was curious. I didn't watch any of this game, but I went to Twitter to see what was going on, and I looked at some of the box score. There were no turnovers that I saw in this game. The Jets had more total yards, and somehow the Patriots still won this game. The internet was saying the Jets defense sort of let them down and their field goal kicker let them down. So did anybody have any tabs on this game?
No. All I know is the tight end, Tyler Conklin,
Hmm.
said, I mean, 5 losses in a row is pretty damn dark. Shit, 1 or 2 losses in a row can get dark. This sucks. When Aaron Rodgers was asked, I've been in the darkness. You have to go in there and make peace with it.
I mean, I guess if you're going to use the term darkness, you got to expect him to address it some way like that. Whether that's good or bad from the team's perspective, I don't know, but I guess you get
So
what you
this
get.
man's advice, Muff, is to go on a darkness retreat
I
and
think that
make
was
peace
his
with it.
advice. I think it was just his wisdom from being in the darkness.
He's gonna quote Bane here in a minute.
He might.
So the Jets kicker did miss another field goal today. So, I mean, you lose by 3, you can always question that. But even whenever I was at the Steeler game last week, he missed a lot in pregame warmups too.
Hmm. Yeah, I just thought it was interesting. I didn't expect the Patriots with Jacoby Brissett, who was inept, I will say at best for the first part of the season, to be part of any type of this type of situation. So that's why I was curious, just like what happened, because I did look and I was like, there's no turnovers. And how did this come to be if the Patriots put up 25 points with like less than 300 total yards? It just seemed fairly odd at how that went down. So I was curious.
So
Uh,
are we gonna? We're not gonna address Aaron Rodgers, and
what do you want to address, Jim?
does he get any blame for this?
I He didn't turn the ball. Again, having not watched the game, I do not know. He didn't throw any interceptions. He had 2 touchdowns. He had, I will say, a typical Aaron Rodgers stat line, about 220, 230 yards, 2 touchdowns, decent completion percentage. As far as his stats, I don't think there's any blame to put there. Garrett Wilson had over 100 yards. Devontae Adams didn't have a great day. Conklin had a touchdown, I believe. So I'm. It's tough for me to blame the quarterback when they scored 22 points. He didn't have any turnovers, and they lost by 3. Would you like to
Okay.
blame Aaron Rodgers, Jim?
I just want to know, like, this is your boy. 3 weeks ago, they were sitting atop the top of the division. Now they're tied for last.
Yeah, I think there's more problems here than just what Aaron Rodgers is doing or saying.
I mean, we'll see. Woody Johnson is another finger that people are pointing fingers at, but TBD. Nate, your Bucks.
Yeah, they look like they normally do when they wear creamsicles. And back in the day, they suck. Um, so they had 3 turnovers. Baker threw 2 interceptions. Rashad White had a fumble lost. Jesse Bates had a hell of a day. I don't know why they keep trying to throw the ball his way. They let Kirk Cousins look like a Super Bowl contender every time they play against them. He throws another 4 touchdowns. Kyle Pitts has a big day on nice short tight end day. I mean, I knew they were going to be in for a struggle here. Of course, without Godwin, without Evans. But the defense just needs to step their shit up. I mean, the defense, their Super Bowl year was their bread and butter. I mean, they haven't really lost too much from that defense, but I would have expected a little bit better. But secondary just got shredded today, and now the Falcons are 4-0 in the division with games against Carolina and New Orleans left. So Falcons are going to be in the driver's seat here in the division if the Bucks can't get their shit together. And they're in for a tough stretch here because next week they go to Kansas City and then they host the Niners.
Yeah, it's 2 tough weeks. Baker Mayfield was still pretty effective overall, which is not what I expected. Cade Otton, I think, was the big rise as far as the receiving threats for today.
Yeah, I was waiting for him to have a breakout game because even last year I thought he should have been more involved in the pass game. And then they elevated some dude from the practice squad. I can't remember his name. And he actually stepped up more today than the receivers who have been on the team have. So that's going to be their big thing without these two going forward is who's going to be able to step up in the pass game because now that Cade Otton's kind of made his presence known, I would imagine Andy Reid would take him away next week So then it's going to be who steps up amongst this wide receiver room when all of them are pretty young and unproven.
There it is. Any questions, Jim? Thoughts?
No.
All
Well
right.
done.
The Packers get a win 30-27 over the Jaguars. Although Jordan Love injures his groin and goes out this one, and Malik Willis finishes the game for the Packers. Not a game. I mean, I think the Jaguars came back a little bit in this one. I think the Packers were up 14, 17 points at one point, and then I looked back and I was like, wait, why are the Jaguars close in this game? I think some of that is answered by the fact that Jordan Love went out. So, anybody have any eyes on this game?
No.
Nope.
Packers get the win, but at what cost at this point with Jordan Love's injury? The Packers are working right now with Robert Saleh, former Jets head coach, who is assisting their offense while he's earning $20,000 a day from the Jets.
I mean, you can't tell me this isn't a spite move. You can't.
I mean, I can. I don't
Hey,
know.
buddy.
I
We've
don't.
been through this before with Rodgers. We understand. Come over here. It'll be all right.
I don't know the inner workings of relationships with head coaches. So,
okay.
What'd you say, Nate?
I was kind of surprised to see he's working with the offense because isn't he a defensive guy?
Yeah, that was the most interesting thing. I don't think it's uncommon, right? You have coaches that kind of switch sides of the ball here and there, but Saleh was like entrenched as defensive coach with the 49ers, and that was like his entire background, I thought. So that was a little surprising to me.
Cool.
Next, Jim's Texans go in, take down the Colts 23-20. Jim, thoughts on today's game?
Diggs is probably done for the year. God, knock on wood, hope not. Tank Dell got in the action, caught some passes. I couldn't tell you because I couldn't see the game, but from what I could see with the stat lines and things, it looked as though he stepped up for the injured Diggs, non-contact injury. I am interested to see what life is like without Diggs. I'm not as worried as some may be.
I mean, this is just back to what last year.
Right. And that's okay.
Yep. I think the Bills come out looking, not that you would expect somebody to get season-ending injury, but the Bills are like, huh, what if this was us right now?
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson for the Colts did take a play off because he was winded.
Tired. He was tired.
Dude, he's never going to hear the end of this, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is bad look. Bad look.
I don't know.
Almost as bad as his stat line throwing the ball.
I would say I'm like 97% on, yeah, you guys are right. But as injured as he's been, I'm not surprised that he's tired. Is the only point I want to make.
No, he said he was tired because he had a long run. And that's why he came out.
Right. So he's not conditioned.
I don't give a shit. You're the franchise quarterback. Get back and hand the damn ball off.
I don't think he thinks like that.
I don't give a shit what Antonio Brown thinks like. If you're tired, you just go back in the huddle and they call a run play. You don't even run a route.
I think he's Jameis Winston 2.0.
I can see that.
So like I see what you guys are saying. I'm on your team. Like this guy's a what the hell? Don't ever stop busting his balls. But on that slight like 3% of me says he don't know no better. He just down.
He hasn't learned anything from Joe Flacco this year. Is kind of what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't think he's capable. Like think about how many people Jameis Winston's been exposed to. Still dumb.
I don't know if I'd put them in like the dumb category.
I don't really know any nicer way to put it, so I'm going with dumb for the podcast.
Okay.
Episode 299.
Yeah. Don't get us canceled in 299. We need to get to
Right.
300. But I mean I think Indy Indianapolis is gonna question everything now. I think it's just, this is what this does. It just makes them question everything.
But I
Yeah.
don't think they're an organization that questions things as much as another, like any as others.
Oh,
Because
all I
Ursay's
know is
at the wheel.
there's going to be some chaos in that locker room.
I agree with that. But like ownerships, I don't think they're going to care as much.
I don't know. Let's just see if the first game next week, if they actually block for this dude.
The worst thing that can happen is if this sticks in McAfee's craw.
Already has. He's already
He blew it up, did he?
he blew it up already.
Well, then yeah, he's screwed.
This thing's gonna eat a little bit, and I'm
It's
sure it's
not
gonna
good.
be a topic of conversation in McAfee's Monday Daily Show. So
That's not good. That's not good for this poor boy.
nope. Next we have the Chargers beating the Saints 26-8, as expected, I guess. In this one, Saints are down bad.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
one try to rip off Justin Herbert's ankle.
Did not see that.
He has Herbert down around the calf or whatever, trying to get a sack, and Herbert gets the pass off. And I don't think this guy knew the pass was gone, and he just grabs his leg and twists it.
And this is my sad face. That's called pulling a Michigan.
I thought you were going to say you didn't care because it was a Michigan head coach.
Well, that's what a Michigan player does. Like they have done that historically. If that happened to Jim Harbaugh's quarterback in the NFL, I don't care.
I'm going to see if I can find out where this guy went to college just for you, Jim.
Oh, I hope it's Michigan. God, the stars would smile.
All right, as Nate's looking that up, the Bills beat down the Seahawks 31-10.
Yeah, that was a mugging.
Again, didn't watch any of the game, but I was doing some score watching here and there, and saw that this was never in doubt.
Never. Not once.
Find anything, Nate?
I found the clip. I got to see. Okay, so it's number 93 for the Saints.
Nate's working all the way backwards on this.
He's doing good.
Bryce Young gets the start for the Panthers, but it results in no different outcome. The Panthers lose to the Broncos 28-14.
Yeah, I don't know anybody in their right mind that wants to be a Panther right now.
Which, Muff, for the betting episode, I believe that means they covered.
The Broncos did, I believe.
Yeah.
No, it was definitely not more than a 14-point line.
So, fade the Panthers is definitely going to be on still. I understood our hesitance with the Broncos, but now it's definitely on.
We'll have to see what the matchup is next week. I have no idea.
I'm going to find out. But
what if it's like the Raiders?
I'm still going to fade them.
I'm going to fade the game. I'm going to fade points. I'll get for the under.
All right,
it's New Orleans.
Is it the Saints? Fade points. Bet the under.
It was defensive tackle Nathan Shepard from Fort Hays State, a Division II school.
Out of probably Michigan.
Kansas.
By way of Michigan.
Sure.
He must have played for Jason Brown.
All right.
We got to keep the show.
That's slapdick.
Yeah, we can't be that Jason Brown-esque. We'll just get canceled.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, we'll get clicks, but we'll have to restart the podcast under a different name.
On a different platform.
Oh, yeah, everything will have to change. Chiefs beat the Raiders 27-20. The Chiefs just continue to chief.
Yep. Oh, show.
They get the win. The Raiders, I think, scored late and then just didn't get an onside kick. So Chiefs were really up 2 scores going into the latter part of the fourth quarter. Kelsey had I think one of his best, if not his best game of the season. I think he had 90 plus yards and a touchdown. So Chiefs could just continue to chief. The Raiders formally welcomed Tom Brady as a partial owner.
I really wonder, I'm excited for the future of that.
What that means for the team.
Yeah,
the ownership
the
piece.
whole thing. Let's see where that goes.
Now that these restrictions have been in place for Tom Brady with his broadcasting gig, but now they came to light with the official announcement that he is not permitted in other teams' facilities. He cannot witness practice. He can't attend broadcast production meetings in person or virtual. And on the other side, he's not allowed to publicly criticize game officials or other clubs, and he has to abide by the NFL gambling policy.
It sounds like he just made his broadcasting job a lot easier.
So what you're telling me is I just got to show up on Sundays and go home. Got it.
And talk about football. That's all you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
Show up and talk about football. Then I can leave.
Yeah, the whole thing with being an owner about not permitted in another team facility, witness practice, I get, but the whole can't attend broadcast production meetings is kind of odd to me.
Well, because you're seeing film.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what I know that was the discussion is you have access, you pretty much, those production meetings, you have access to all of the interviews and everything that he's not allowed to go to.
okay.
Yeah, I don't make the rules, Nate.
Yeah,
It's not their
can't
logic.
cannot publicly criticize game officials or other clubs.
I hate that rule.
Yeah, I mean, everybody criticizes that during a game. Oh, I can't believe he made that call. You can't say that, Tom.
Yeah, that's stupid.
What I love about this is Tom Brady is partial owner of an NFL franchise, of which at this point all of the franchises continue to gain in their valuation. So he's going to exponentially get more money from this partial ownership.
He got
And then
what,
he's getting
5%?
paid, I forget what the percentage was. Um, Plus, he's going to get paid millions of dollars to talk about football on Sunday.
Living the life.
He's smart.
Nice. This is very smart. I mean, I'm going to question some of this intelligence, Jim, because part of the reason he's in some of this hole is because he was deep into the crypto market.
Well,
He lost a lot of money in that one.
maybe he's not always smart.
That was a bad run for him. He's not the only one that got duped, but we were all duped in this game, especially in the end, as the Commanders squeak away with a victory and a last-second Hail Mary from Jaden Daniels from about midfield as they take down the Bears and Caleb Williams 18-15.
It was a hell of a Hail Mary. Good job, Nate.
Is that all we got? Is that all we got, guys?
I mean, that's all I saw.
Yeah, again, why this game wasn't the nationally televised game, I still don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, I again didn't watch aside from that for the same reasons that Nate just brought up. But I honestly I expected more overall offense in this game. Right? This 2 touchdowns in the last minute is basically what
Yeah,
we're
it was
looking at here.
definitely two rookie quarterbacks that kind of showed that they were rookies as far as production.
Yeah, that was what my biggest takeaway is. I just expected a little bit more fireworks throughout the whole game from the offensive side of the ball. But I saw the replay and it didn't really look like anybody screwed up from the Bears. I think it was just right place, right time for Noah Brown.
Yeah, it's like, well, the only thing I can say for the Bears is like every single defender played the ball.
It's true.
And Noah Brown's just chilling like 2 yards behind everybody. Like, I'll take that. Thank you.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So that's what we get. Great ending to just a good game. Again, we didn't get to watch it. So that wrapped up the Sunday slate aside from our live look-in Cowboys 49ers in Sunday night football. And we have
3-0 Niners.
okay. Unexpected slightly.
Yeah, they went down the field. First drive, got a field goal, and then Dak just threw a pick in the red zone.
No,
Well, they weren't in the red zone, but he threw it interception around the 10, 15-yard line.
that was probably one of the most expected things of the game.
Yep.
Dak doing that. So we'll see how that goes. Do we think 49ers come away with this one?
If they can control the time of possession, yes.
Jim?
Yeah, I agree with Nate's. Nate's on fire tonight.
Nate's got it. I'm
Solid
100%,
points.
100% behind Nate as well. Monday Night Football action this week is the Giants traveling to Pittsburgh, take on the Steelers. Is this even worth watching if you're not a Steelers fan?
If you have money on it.
Well, sure. But I was going to say, I guess if you want to see how Russell Wilson does in his second outing.
Yeah, too. That storyline definitely plays.
Yeah, we'll see. And see if Danny Dimes does anything. TBD. That wraps up the NFL, which brings us to college football week 9. It was a week. It was an interesting week. It was potentially disastrous week for some teams, but we will start out because Alex is not here as WVU travels to Arizona and comes out with a 31-26 win. Nate, you had some eyes on this?
Yeah, so I even told my mom before this game, I'm like, I don't know how much of this game I'm going to be able to watch given how WVU's played lately. But they went in there and they dominated early, do what they do in the run game. Starting quarterback Garen Green was not dressed for this one. So they went to their backup, Nico Marchiol, who played really well. I want to say he had like 70-some% completion percentage, threw a touchdown or two, and in a homecoming game from him because he is from Arizona. And then WVU tried to blow it late. They were up a couple scores and that Arizona back into it, but were able to get a couple first downs late and kneel this one out.
I thought the crowd was a hell of a crowd from what I watched. I thought the WVU players, their attitudes were great. I thought the Twitter sphere is on Alex's team of Fire Neil Brown, regardless of winning.
Yeah, the only thing that I've seen about that is they're like, well, look who WVU's lost to in their records. Like Penn State, undefeated. Pitt, undefeated.
Iowa State, Kansas State.
Yeah, Kansas State, Iowa State are ranked in the top 15. So it's like they're not losing to a team that has a losing record. They're losing to quality teams. But it's like it doesn't matter in WVU land. Like they want to see the team perform. Like I probably can speak for Alex. I mean, I don't think they anticipated beating Penn State as most WVU fans. The Pitt game, they had them late and they choked a 10-point lead with like 5 minutes to go. And then the other two games, he really didn't put up much of a fight.
Yeah, I think one of the best things for WVU is that they got away from Morgantown, like for the football team. So we'll see. They're idle next week. Find out more about Alex's thoughts, whether it's on the betting show or in next week's main episode. That would be episode 301. We'll find out. Jim, let's talk about Ohio State.
We want to talk about
The fact that they played a game, your
They
thoughts
won.
on the game.
They won
What was the score?
21-17.
Who did they play?
Nebraska
How did Nebraska do last week?
got destroyed by Indiana.
How does Columbus feel?
Fire Ryan Day.
Falling!
Fire Ryan Day.
And
That's every week.
well, I mean, I think they at least have some legitimate support and justification this week. Other weeks I disagree. This week I want to know
the pan is very hot.
Okay. What were the reasons this week that the pan has increased in temperature?
You came off a loss to a bye week, and this is your rebound. You knew you had a starting lineman out that apparently is this linchpin to your whole offense.
Mm-hmm.
You have two star running backs that you can't get a run game off of. At one point, it looked like you may go down and stay down. Your defense, while it looked good compared to playing Oregon, was not great. You didn't stop the big explosion plays that was notorious for the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be this guy that beats on Ryan Day, but like shit's starting to add up. 2-7 against ranked teams.
Mm-hmm.
Your team doesn't look prepared. The fans were booing you. You're running some of the same stupid shit. We invested a lot here, and by we I mean like the university, NIL. Like people have invested a lot of money. Even the players that have stayed back. Denzel Burke, another one. Like, yeah, you had an okay game, but you're Denzel Burke. You're supposed to go first round.
That's 2 weeks in a row, right? That he's
Yeah.
Well, not 2 weeks, but 2 games in a row, I should say.
And then, like, okay, put a pin in all that. Like, let's fire Ryan Day. Like, put a pin in that. There was a lot of Twitter talk about the fans in the Horseshoe.
Okay.
And, like, I'm not going to sit here and deny that. Like, a bunch of not very happy people. The atmosphere is not all hype. I watch the 4 screens every Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
We are not the most hyped atmosphere. Go to Happy Valley next weekend. That place is going to be raucous. Texas A&M. Texas A&M with the cowbells. Got it. WVU. Like, I watched part of that game. Those guys aren't, like, national contenders. Thank God Alex isn't on. But, like, they're still up. We're Ohio State. What the fuck?
I saw 2 clips, we'll say. I saw some of this game earlier in the day. At the time, I was not concerned that Ohio State was going to be in a game at the time that I was watching. I was like, oh, it's early. This just things will turn around. The only 2 clips I saw were Ryan Day being very demonstrative and adamant about some call. So I'm not sure what
it was a targeting call.
Okay, that was upheld with suspension.
Yeah.
Okay. Was it in the first half or second half?
Second half.
So is that whole game?
Half game.
Next half. Second half you sit out the rest of the game, and then the first half the next game.
Okay. I always forget. I just don't even pay attention anymore because I don't see as much of them in college football. Okay. And then I saw, and this is where I saw some outrage from Ohio State fans in the social media world. I think it was after a turnover. You had some of the guys like pose for the camera, and then people were like, guys, you just won 21-17. Why?
I don't care about that. I didn't see a lot of that, and I don't care about that. If there was more of that, I'd feel better.
Okay. Just for the excitement and being like, okay, you're excited to be in this game, you're excited to play, actually show this.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no ups. And when I try to like avoid the burn it all down, like it's but when national announcers on like the Fox 3 p.m., the people that aren't official, like your former players that are on, not like your talking heads, are like, is Ryan Day real? Like, is he a real coach? Or is he like this hype that we bought into? Like, does the machine need him? Or will the machine, no matter who you put in there, do what it's doing right now?
Right. He's not adding value, some people are conjecturing.
He's not. Like, in my opinion, now we'll go to Happy Valley. And like, if we pull off a win, cool.
Right. All will be right with the world again for a week.
And we'll be quiet, and then we'll march down to IU, or IU will come in our place. And if we beat IU, cool, and we'll beat Michigan, and like everything will be right. Okay. Then we'll get to that first playoff game. Oh no, we'll go to the Big Ten championship and play Oregon and get beat. And then we'll all be like, blah, 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 but we'll probably still make the playoff.
Yeah, I'm most likely at that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we'll go to the playoff. We'll win the first round. And then get beat. And it'll be like, well, and I think if this year, like, if there was ever a case, if he loses again, no matter where it's at, a conversation needs to be had.
Does it matter how they lose?
I don't give a fuck.
So the answer is no.
I don't care. Like, It's just bad. But like, there also needs to be a hard, and I know this is crazy if you're like, you're Ohio State, Jim. There needs to be a hard reflection on like the administration. We can't keep doing these cut scenes with Joel and all them in the press box, and there's ceiling tiles missing from the press box. Like, we can't have our fans sitting down on third down and like with their thumbs up their butts. Like, we need to change the culture at the institution.
Okay.
And
There it
like,
is.
my last thought, and I mean this, and I thought real hard about this. I had to turn off football after this, but when you think of Jim Tressel, you think sweaters, conservative, beat you field position. There was an identity. When you thought Urban Meyer, I don't mean Urban Meyer with the chick at the bar. I mean, when you thought
Oh.
Ohio State Urban Meyer, you thought like spread you out and beat you to a pulp, never take the foot off your throat. When you think Ryan Day, what do you think? Like, I talk a lot of shit about James Franklin. Like, he has an identity. The coach from Oregon has an identity. The coach from Tennessee, identity. The guy from Texas, Sark, identity. Even the USC guy, who he's struggling,
Mm-hmm.
identity. What's Ryan Day have?
A collective.
I don't exactly. I don't know that Jim Harbaugh's assessment that he landed on third was wrong.
All right.
I'm done.
That was a lot for they won. And that would seem to be where you're willing to stop.
Yeah.
Penn State beats Wisconsin 28-13. We talked about this, I believe, in the betting episode. I was at a wedding. I was in a wedding. And this was a evening reception. So from 7 until 11:30 was reception time. I will say the first half, I maybe looked at the score twice.
Mm-hmm.
Saw what was going on, didn't even realize what had happened in the game with Drew Aller. Just saw the score and I was like, oh, what's going on here? I'm just curious how this is going to play out, what's going to happen in the second half. Then, found a few people and we did watch about, I would say, half of the third quarter and a good 5 to 10 minutes of the fourth quarter until Penn State went up by 2 scores, that final score, the 28-13. And then we went back to wedding festivities. So I did see Bo Prabula come in, just not get anything going early, and then come back and actually lead the team to victory from the quarterback position. Now that they finally let him throw in that second half. So not good. The Drew Aller's hurt. The speculation is it's an MCL sprain, so some type of knee injury, which would probably put him out for multiple weeks if that is true, and it's we'll say, any type of above the very minimal sprain of the MCL. So, yeah, that's what I had there. So I did watch some of the game, Jim.
I again turned the TV off after the Ohio State game.
So I don't know. Nate, I don't know if you watched any of this game.
Nope.
All right.
I got one text message from completely outside of our bubbles.
Yeah.
From my father.
Okay.
Who said Luke Fickell is doing Luke Fickell ball and is very predictable. And Luke Fickell is the reason Wisconsin is hurting. My retort was, I don't know, I turned this shit off. But somebody tell me if that's true.
Yeah, so I mean, again, I was in and out for some of the second half. Penn State came over the top whenever they had a pick six. That's what kind of really shifted the momentum. Penn State, I will say, from what I watched in the second half, the defense just took over. Obviously, the pick six is a big deal, but was also just stuffing every hole in the run game.
Well, that's what he kind of alluded to. Was it, again, I didn't watch, but it was Fickell of run, pass.
Got it.
Run, pass, which is Fickell ball. So. And that would have set up your interceptions.
Right.
And
it was
coming.
Yeah, the interception was Wisconsin was inside their own 10. It was when the pick six happened. So
Yeah.
so we'll see. Drew Aller, haven't heard anything. They're using the hockey terms lower body injury. But Nate, if you do see this play, I would be interested in your assessment where he got hurt. He was in the pocket. It was either right at the line of scrimmage or he was sacked behind the line of scrimmage, and he was in the grass, and the defensive player, while he was on the ground, kind of continued to push him backwards, like in an awkward angle. That's where the sprain came in. It seemed a little, to me, excessive, but not something that they typically flag, which just led me to the thought of with NIL, with especially quarterbacks in those positions, are we going to see what the NFL does translate within the next few years to college football in the level of protection of quarterbacks?
Oh, I'm sure because everything just trickles down. That's what we're even talking about. I was talking even at the high school level, and then I'm not sure if this is going to come to fruition or not, but the rumor is starting next year, all 15-yard penalties are going to be automatic first downs like they are in the college and the NFL.
Okay.
So I'm sure stuff is going to trickle down from the NFL to college, and that wouldn't surprise me at all, given the amount of money that's, like you said, with the NIL invested in all these players.
Yeah. I'm going to look a little bit here, see if I can find this, just to get your take on it. I'm not going to take away from us continuing on here. So let's get into top 25 action elsewhere. Any other questions about Penn State?
I do.
Yeah.
And this is probably ill timed because we are playing each other. But I did read an article last week.
Mm-hmm.
A reporter came up to James Franklin and was like,
yeah.
"Hey, these two players, they're facing these former players facing sexual assault charges." And he walked away, and it happened twice. And then he came back this Saturday after the game, was like, "I apologize. I shouldn't have handled it that way." Just want to catch your thoughts on that. I think it was big of him to come back on Saturday after he wins a game
Mm-hmm.
and say, "Look, I screwed up."
Yeah.
I don't know that this is a newsworthy story. I think it's kind of shitty on the reporter to like, "Hey, you're prepping for a game. These ex-players of yours."
Yeah, so the local I did look a little bit into this. It seems that the sentiment is these are former players. The incident in question happened over the summer.
Right.
They were released from the team. They're no longer at the university, from what I understand from the limited research I completed. And the school, the university, through some PR person, already put out a statement.
Right.
Said this is what's going on. James Franklin's not going to address this issue. This is all we're going to say on this. So he comes out for one of his regular pressers, and one of the local media, that's the first question they ask him. So he just does an about face and literally goes off. And the PR person comes in and says, "Hey, we told you guys we're not addressing this, so stop asking." And it was almost the thought that what I was seeing was this was like local media trying to get clicks and get some clickbait. Now, James Franklin, I did not go down this rabbit hole. There is some history of players at former schools that had these types of issues. So I think they're trying to link the story of everywhere James Franklin goes, there's players that have issues with sexual assault. I'm here to say how many of these major programs have not had some of these types of issues in the past. I don't know the length or we'll say the depth of the history. I don't know if James Franklin had at other schools. This is the first I can recall at Penn State, aside from all of the rumors about the Micah Parsons era. There was potentially some issues inside the locker room, but that's what I got.
I was more on you asked him twice.
Oh yeah.
You asked him twice. And then like, why? Like, you had your statement, you knew what you were going to get. You were either baiting him to say something stupid,
mm-hmm.
or you were baiting him for that reaction that you got. And either way, they're former players. Like, how else did you want him to address it? You wanted him to cuff the guys,
Right.
like publicly execute them. Like, We have a justice system. He can only do so much. He's a football coach.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like I'm not trying to say like if he had knowledge and you like, hey, James Franklin, I heard you were there that night. Like, you want to do some investigative journalism, go ahead. But hey, what do you think about this? Like, I kicked them off my team. We dealt with it. Like, the
Yeah.
statement's out there. Like, you're just baiting him. I think that was bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. Unless they, like you said, did some real investigative journalism and they're like, hey, there was allegations that this had happened before this summer and they were still on the team up until this situation. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you've got something to ask that's more than just him walking off and trying to get some clicks. So, but yeah, I did see that. And I
I,
think I'm not gonna say he handled it perfectly, but I don't know what else he was supposed to do aside from say no comment.
right.
All right. Other top 25 action. We had number 1 Oregon take down 20 Illinois 38-9.
I think this simply showed the discrepancy of the haves and have-nots in the Big Ten.
Yeah. Number 5 Texas is in a close one against 25 Vandy 27-24.
It will drop Vandy out of the top 25 and probably shouldn't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean you're going
putting
to.
Vandy on the map after you upset Alabama, then you cover against Texas.
Yeah.
So I mean that's I think it says more about who does it say more about? Vanderbilt as a team or Texas?
Vandy.
Yeah.
That not only was the Alabama game a big game, but that wasn't a fluke.
Yep.
There we go. Miami stays perfect, beating Florida State, who is far from perfect, 36-14.
Dog shit. I can't believe they haven't fired that guy. That should be Monday's announcement.
Jim, they were undefeated up until the bowl game last year.
Fire him. 1-7.
I think whoever's idea was to recruit DJ Uyunglele in the first place should have been fired.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
There's the answer. Yeah. Miami. We buying into the Miami hype or
No.
Has to for now.
Get me the Clemson matchup.
Texas A&M makes, I guess, a statement of sorts in the SEC, beating LSU 38-23.
Poor Brian Kelly.
I think this more shows LSU's not legit and Brian Kelly's a joke.
Right. When I say we, I think the collective college football community had kind of written off Texas A&M pretty early, and they've just continued to win and have put themselves in a position where they're relevant.
Yeah, I agree.
BYU 37-24 over UCF.
Good win. Good win.
Yeah, I don't think there's really much to chat about there. Notre Dame gets top 25 win 51-14, convincingly over Navy.
I don't think that says like I'm not giving a lot of credence to that win. Yeah, they beat Navy.
I mean, Navy was a great story, but it's like that's what's supposed to happen when you have a football school that has out all those scholarships versus guys in a academy. Like that's the score I anticipated. If it would have been any closer, I would have said, Notre Dame, you got some bigger fish to fry.
Yep.
Next, Kurt Signetti in Indiana in the game day game beat Washington 31-17, staying undefeated. I think it's the most wins to start the season since the 60s.
Yep. It's cool. Game day was there. Pat McAfee, I think, overhyped Indiana a little bit when they were like, it's just sold out. They're sold out for the rest of the year. And then they cut to the stadium. The whole upper corner of the stadium is empty. And
Did you see the towels they gave out with Signet?
No. What was on it?
So it was like the Marlboro Light packaging, but it said Signetti instead of Marlboro.
That's cool.
That's pretty good.
I just think that I like the game day atmosphere. Again, probably better than Ohio State's, but I just think that was a rough cut.
For that hype and then to not be able to truly demonstrate it.
Yeah.
But I mean, good for Indiana. Good for the program. They fight on another week and continue to stay relevant. in the Big Ten as well as the
I
national
mean,
picture.
their schedule goes Michigan State, Michigan, Ohio State, Purdue. They're looking at probably legitimately one loss if Ohio State gets their head out of their asses.
Mm-hmm.
If not, undefeated.
Surprise of the year if that goes down.
I mean, yeah.
Google him.
Yeah.
15 Alabama blanks Missouri 34-0.
We called that. We knew this was going to be a punching bag.
Yeah. Missouri is without their starting quarterback or starting running back, and I don't know if their starting quarterback ended up playing or not. He was questionable.
Yeah, he went out.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay. Next, Kansas State beats Kansas 29-27.
Didn't cover. I think if Alex was here, he would say that. How did he phrase it on the podcast? They were good. If they show up good,
Right.
they'll be good.
Kansas State is as good as they show up for that game.
Right.
If they did not show up well for this game.
So.
Ashton Genty, Heisman frontrunner in Boise State, beat UNLV 29-24.
Yeah, slow start for this one. Hit his rushing under, but still over 100 yards rushing, and I think a pair of touchdowns.
I think you just had one touchdown, Nate.
Oh, just one?
Believe it was just one based on my winners and losers for the week. I did a check. I actually checked to make sure he didn't have a receiving touchdown as well. So unless he had a kickoff or punt return, I believe it was just one.
No, I just remember catching this game at the hole on Friday night, and at one point he was like 4 carries for 4 yards or something, and then kind of broke out in the second half.
Ole Miss beats Oklahoma 26-14. This was more competitive than I thought it would be.
Way closer. Oklahoma's defense showed up. I don't think Dart had a good game in comparison to what he usually does. Way closer than it should have been. You can tell the wins out of Ole Miss sails. Like, I will not be betting them this week. Like, you can tell that they know they're not in it anymore, and they're starting to play like it.
They know what the rest of their schedule looks like, and it's not going to allow them to truly make a push.
Yeah.
All right. 19 Pitt in Thursday night football. Pick sixes their way to a win over Syracuse 41-13.
Kyle McCord did not know who he was throwing to. He had a case of the colorblinds. That bottle of champagne probably tastes real good from Syracuse's coach to Ryan Day.
Pitt's real.
This doesn't make them real.
Well, I'm saying if you continue to stay undefeated.
I mean, it's a statement win for them to play defense like that in a conference game. But
primetime matchup, Thursday night football, you show up. Like, that's good. That's good for the program.
Kyle McCord took a shit all over this game.
I know we'll see. Pitt's got some tough games coming up. So
Pitt still has Clemson to play, and I think they have one other currently ranked matchup on their schedule. Is it SMU?
Yes, next week.
All right, there we go. Yeah, I knew Clemson was on there. I thought there was one more. Speaking of SMU, they beat Duke barely, 28-27.
And a good game from what I saw in the highlights.
Yeah, I think this was an overtime game, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Oh. SMU looking ahead a little bit?
I think
maybe.
Because Duke is by no means a powerhouse.
Yeah, we'll see. Can we go back to Notre Dame for a second?
Sure.
They have the one loss to Northern Illinois, right?
Mm-hmm.
They play Florida State, Virginia, Army, USC.
And have zero chance of playing in any conference championship game.
Can they make a playoff?
Yes.
It wouldn't. Yeah, now you take 12 teams or whatever.
Unbelievable. That would be a gimme.
Not necessarily. Depends on who they get. You know they're not going to be one of the top 4 or 6 teams unless all the top 4 or 6 teams take a shit the rest of the season.
Wow.
I mean, my thing with Notre Dame is now you were banking on some of these teams to help build your resume. They probably thought USC was going to be a top 10 team. They're not. Yeah, you play Army, but again, when you're playing a service academy that doesn't have the scholarships or the recruiting like you do, you should win that game pretty soundly. And then you said who they got, Virginia, and who's the other one?
Army, Virginia, USC. I missed the other one. I can't remember.
Is it Stanford, maybe?
Maybe.
Because they always have that game, but Stanford's not anything they used to be. So it's like if you're Notre Dame, you probably should win out just based on your quality of competition that's left in the schedule. I think Notre Dame this year is really benefiting from the expanded playoff.
Oh, 100%. That was part of that. They were one of the big potential winners when this all came down. So, the path is there, Jim. 100%. Whether we like it or not.
Holy shit. I'm just looking. I put your 12 teams in your AP top 12. And like those guys can sneak up all the way to the top 4 if you think about it. Like if you really think about it, Oregon's they're gonna go all the way to the championship. They don't play anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State and Penn State have to play. So one of them will fall. Georgia probably has to play Texas.
Most likely, yes.
So one of them will fall. Miami and Clemson have to play. Miami, I guess, could stay.
Yeah, Pitt could be part of that conversation.
Pitt would have to make a hell of a jump.
I don't know if they keep winning, though.
Yeah, but conference champions in, right?
Right.
Automatic bid.
God. Those guys, Notre Dame cannot have one of the top 4 spots.
I doubt it. I think
no, they can't because they're not a conference champion.
You can just because I don't think it's guaranteed that the conference champions get top 4 spots because they seed them, correct?
I don't know.
The bowl champion.
Last time I argued with you about who gets what, I lost. So
well, no, this is me not trying to be super confident in this, but I think that the college football playoff seeds the teams. So just because you win your conference championship and you're in a Power 5 doesn't mean that you're a top seed. It just means that you're automatically in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, Notre Dame could do something here. We'll see. But Jim just rattled off a lot about the AP there. Oregon, Georgia, Penn State, Ohio State, Miami, Texas, Tennessee, Notre Dame, BYU, Texas A&M, Iowa State, Clemson.
No, so the 4 highest conference ranked champions will be seeds number 1 through 4.
Okay, so there's the answer.
So you get that guaranteed home playoff game.
Correct. Well, the bye plus the home playoff game.
Yeah, and the first round bye.
Yeah. There's the answer.
So we know that the 1 through 4, they can't get 1 through 4.
Right.
Well, really, when you think about it, they already get a bye. They don't play a conference championship game.
Yeah. I guess if you think about it that way, you're right.
Yeah.
Huh. All right. Be interesting. It will be interesting. Games of note.
So hold on, Muff. Hold on. You're looking at Oregon. Let's just play hypothetical for a second, and I'll be unbiased. You're looking at Oregon, Georgia, Penn State. No. Oregon, Georgia, Miami. Who's the other conference? Texas. No.
Big 12.
Yeah, don't forget about Big 12, Jim.
Iowa State or we'll call it BYU. Oregon, Georgia, Penn State, BYU, Miami. Right?
Yeah, so right now BYU's the top dog in the Big 12, followed by Iowa State and then Kansas State.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. and then everything else just shakes the hell out.
For
Is there
now.
something in there about the what is they call the group of 5 conference champions?
Yeah.
Do any of them get a home playoff? They
Yes.
just won't be top 4, right?
Right.
So this whole AP poll is worthless to us, basically.
Yeah, until the college football playoff one comes out. I don't think
Right.
it starts until sometime in like mid-November.
Right.
Wow. All right.
A lot of speculation. It's not really probably going to get us too far.
No, you can't because it's
Yeah.
all jacked up.
Yep.
Jacked up Mountain Dew.
All jacked up on Mountain
Yeah.
Dew. All right, go ahead, Muff.
All right. Games of note. Florida takes on Georgia.
Georgia all the way.
We would hoping that would be a better game. We just talked about the ranked matchup between Pitt and SMU. What do we think? Think Pitt?
I like Pitt. I can't.
They are traveling, so I guess that's something in SMU's favor.
Mm-hmm.
And a big noon kickoff on Fox
And college game day.
and college game day. Ohio State at Penn State in Happy Valley. Can't be the whiteout because it's big noon kickoff. Screw Fox. I hate you.
Yay.
Question. Where does McAfee go with his pick?
Oh, he's going Penn State all day long.
All day long.
He's a homer.
Where's Lee Corso?
He'll go Ohio State.
There's the dichotomy there.
Yeah.
His first heavier pick, he's going to stick with it.
Yeah.
One will have a Buckeye. Corso will have the Buckeye head on, and McAfee will have put on the Nittany line.
For sure.
Who do you want to be the guest picker, Muff?
That's a very interesting question. And I think they're done with, what is it?
Keegan Michael Key.
Yeah, I think they're done with him. If they bring him back, I think they're trying to do too much with that. I would
Micah
love
Parsons.
I would love to see, just because I think it'd be funny, not that this is a high profile enough person for college ESPN College Game Day, AQ Shipley to come back, just because he has that tie to Pat McAfee, and I think they would have a good give and take in that
They've
section.
done that once though. They brought AQ out at Ohio State.
For Game Day at Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that to me would be a go, and Saquon Barkley would be fun. Again, just looking at more of the recency bias.
Yeah, if the if the Eagles have a bye week coming up, that could be possible.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be some ex-football personality or football player. I don't think
Dallas is in Atlanta, so probably not Micah.
No.
What about Trace McSorley?
I mean, Sean Clifford's looking for a job right now, isn't he?
Yeah.
You got what's his face from Michigan there. What more do you need?
What?
The idiot on the end on the left.
Oh, Desmond Howard?
You don't need any more help.
Don't need any more help. All right. We'll see. That'll be game day. Jim, you cooking anything special for the game?
No.
All right. I think I'm going to do some ribs or brisket, one of the two.
I honestly haven't. And maybe that's it. I haven't done it all year.
Are you to blame?
Maybe.
You dig deep into this. Don't screw up what's going on, and you screwed up what was going on.
It might be what's happening.
I think you've condemned Ryan Day by your lack
but I'm not going to eat it all year.
You on like an Alex kick right now? How we figure this out? He needs to go.
Yeah, and that might be it.
All right, that brings us into our college football winners and losers of this week. We have nothing to share for Alex. Nate, you pick who goes first.
We'll have Jim go first.
Okay, my winner's IU, because your crowd, despite not having the left side filled up, showed out. That was good first representation for game day. Cal, because you won, nobody's gonna talk about it, but good job.
Who do they?
WVU, Nate, I knew you were gonna ask me, and I had it like a minute ago. Hold on, I'll get it for you. Hold on, Bud.
Cue the Jeopardy music, Muff.
They beat Oregon 44-7.
State?
Yeah.
Oregon State, yeah.
If it was Oregon, I feel like
A
there would have
man
been a
can
lot more
dream.
discussion about it.
Man can dream. And then WVU, because Alex isn't here, and I'm going to say something good about WVU. So, WVU, great job, good atmosphere. Fire your coach, like me. My losers, Michigan State, because you couldn't get it done, and you got punked. Florida State, because you're 1-7, you should fire your coach. Kyle McCord, because you got exposed that you're a fraud. And Ryan Day, you need fired.
Burn it down. Burning the high state stuff down this week. Nate, you want me to go next? So
Sure.
you can finish it off. My winners, and not necessarily of last week, but in anticipation, because this week we have this because both of these teams won their matchups. With Penn State and Ohio State, the Big Ten is the winner because they get to look forward to another top 5 matchup. That's good for the Big Ten. It's good for the conference. Great for Fox. Terrible for me wanting to see primetime matchups. My losers of this week are anybody who was putting the big money on Ashton Genty from Boise State to score 2+ touchdowns, because those odds, I think 2+ was like -300 or 400. So I think a lot of people were probably in that 2+ touchdown area. So Ashton Genty, 2+ touchdown score betters. My losers for the week. Nate.
All right. I'll bring up the rear here. So my winner is Kennesaw State. Gets their first win of the season, knocking off previously undefeated Liberty 27-24, and they were some huge underdogs in that game. And then my loser of the week is UTSA. I saw a screenshot of this. They were beating Tulsa 35-7 at the half, 42-17 with 5.5 minutes left in the third quarter, only to lose 46-45.
Yikes. The meep meeps, the beep beeps. Done effed up, Jim.
Yep.
Them road runners. Bad. All right, that wraps up college football week 9 and brings us to other interesting news in sports.
Other interesting news in sports.
Starting with Major League Baseball. Nate, take it away.
So, Jim, World Series has been pretty damn entertaining so far.
It's baseball, so pretty damn, or just kinda.
So, game 1 of the World Series goes extra innings, and we have the very first ever walk-off grand slam.
That was cool. I'll give that to you.
So, they intentionally walk Mookie Betts to go left on left, and Freddie Freeman calls ball game. And then in game 2, Dodgers also take another win to go up 2-0 in the series, going back to New York tonight on Monday. But Shohei Ohtani gets thrown out at second base on an attempted steal attempt and comes up with an injured shoulder.
He's still playing, though.
Yeah, I did see that he is still going to play. I mean, he's doing DHing, and I think they said it was his left shoulder. Not sure if that really much matters as far as him swinging the bat. But the post I saw said he suffered a subluxation or whatever how you pronounce that of his left shoulder. And I wanted to ask Alex what that meant. And from what I saw, it was a small partial dislocation.
He separated it.
Yes.
So really, it's gonna hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like,
I was going to say it was his non-throwing arm, but again, it doesn't matter. All he's going to do is hit.
I mean, as long as he stems it, he'll be fine.
But yeah, I mean, I saw he was going to go under some testing. Did not fly to New York with the team. He's going to fly out separate. But as you said, Jim, he is expected to play in game 3.
As long as he, doesn't overdo it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be good.
Yeah, I was at the bar on Friday night, and when that whole game 1 shenanigans went down. It was pretty exciting.
Oh yeah, we saw that live at the 19th hole, and whole crowd at the bar went crazy, except for the guy standing at the door in a Yankees hat.
Oh, that's what happens when you go out to the bars in a Yankees cap. In the NHL, the Penguins continue to struggle. And Nate, who have they sent down to the minors?
The starting goalie, who they just signed to a 5-year deal last year, that's going to expire at the end of 2027-2028 campaign, and we're only paying him 5.375 million a year.
Maybe he sucks and needs work.
100% he does.
That's why they sent him to the minors.
Well,
But you just signed into this contract, you're paying him over $5 million a year to be a minor leaguer.
Yeah, he'll get better.
Yeah, he better.
Listen, the Kraken have Grubauer, and he sucks, and he's like a legend. But
He sucks. He sucks.
Speaking of Kraken, Jim, did you see that picture I sent of that guy in the Kraken mask that you need to get?
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I saw that. That was a good one. So, a goaltender is just like the closers of hockey. Like when things start going bad, they just get really bad, and then we have to find a way to like get him out of the limelight for a little bit.
I mean, they did for a little bit. They were playing this rookie goalie that was in the minors last year because their backup started the year on injured reserve. And he's done about as well as you can expect for a first time in the NHL. But then you knew shit really hit the fan when they said, oh, yeah, Jari's going to be a healthy scratch. And then on this most recent road trip to Western Canada, he didn't even travel with the team. He was back in Pittsburgh with a development coach.
You got to figure that, like, some of it's got to be the yips. You know what I mean? Like, that's got to be one of the most mental positions on the ice.
Oh, yeah. Like, whenever you let one or two bad goals in, and then you're just like, doubting everything.
And there's no, like, oh, I'm okay, and coming back from it real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe, you're on a road trip, you have too many beers, and you get a little fat.
So you saying that he just needs to swell up and take up some more space in the net?
Yeah. Yeah, I am.
Yeah. Yes, I am saying that. All right, there's our hockey talk. And we're going to chat a little bit about the WNBA. Liberty won the championship. That was covered last week. But now the WNBA PA, yes, Players Association, opts out of their current CBA, citing the desire to claim the rightful share of the business they've helped build. While this is just this isn't the full picture. It has been reported that the WNBA lost $40 million this past season, but they do have upcoming some media rights deals that I think have in excess of $100 million. So the future potential earnings are what the Players Association is bargaining for.
Plus, Muff, I don't think that's necessarily, and you're the educated one, but like they can report those losses all they want. That doesn't make them like real losses.
No,
that
that's what I'm
affect
saying. This
payroll.
they're reporting lost $40 million. I do not know what the revenues look like
So like
to offset this. So
maybe them losses could be part of the payroll. You get what I'm saying?
yeah, I understand. Like I said, without seeing the full picture of their profit loss statements, I don't know what that represents. I
Like
think
that's what the tax man sees.
right. I don't know. I am unsure how. Yes, yeah, I agreed with that. That's taxman. Well, I don't even know if that's taxman sees. I think this is all
Right.
reported information.
That's what the investors see.
This is all
the stockholders.
This is all grandstanding from both sides right now. Fighting for what they want to see whenever these media rights deals start to hit the bank accounts, so they can get their fair share, which, I mean, good bargaining tool. We'll just see if this
The great bargaining tool.
if this hurts and they get locked out. Right. That could be that. I think that would be one of the worst things that could happen for the WNBA is they get locked out to start their next season.
I, okay.
You can disagree. I think the WNBA needs to have their product on the court in order to continue to build on this momentum. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I will stop there and we'll have a conversation later.
Fair enough. All right, Jim, NASCAR.
Tyler Riddick wins at Homestead in the playoffs, giving Michael Jordan, a shot at a NASCAR title. Wins it at Phoenix. It's where Jordan won his third title. They're going to try to connect the dots. NASCAR is and the media is to be like, look, Jordan titles. What I put this in here for our notes is Michael Jordan wins a NASCAR title right now while he's fighting NASCAR
Mm-hmm.
would be epic. Would blow the minds of the monopoly that is NASCAR, would cause so much issues to be in a legal battle with their championship owner that it would be a case study in awesomeness. From a PR standpoint, from a like, Muff, you should have your kids study it. It's that cool.
This would be who? Not Jerry Jones. I don't think that's the person I would want to see. Let's use the Steelers as the Roonies, even though they would probably never be in that type of battle against the other
It would be
owners.
like during the Flakegate, Brady actually wins the Super Bowl.
Okay, yeah,
That would be exactly what it is.
yeah, that'd be hilarious.
Like that would be how awesome it would be.
Do we think that NASCAR will downplay the team during this run?
I don't know the way NASCAR is built from their mechanism. You can't downplay your champion. Like you just can't.
Well, I think throughout the playoff run,
Oh yeah,
we're not going to hear about it unless they win.
I would say that the fix is in. His car will not pass inspection somewhere. They will flag something. If it got that close, I would dare say that that's a viable option. Yep.
And then we will know 110%.
If you thought boxing was bad,
We're about to really find out.
we're about to find out how bad NASCAR is.
All right.
Sure.
Any other sports news to chat about this week?
No, I'm good.
What's the score at halftime, Nate?
Not quite halftime, 10-6 Dallas.
10-6
Ooh.
Dallas. And there we go. That wraps up this week's episode of Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff. As a reminder, episode 300. Hoping to be giving it to you live from YouTube, but you can catch it on Thursday morning on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. Make sure you follow us at Sports Jim Muff on Instagram and Twitter, Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff on Facebook, on YouTube. Hit all of those action verbs. Help us go up, up, up into the moon. And we have some new loyal listeners with some merch over the weekend. So the hats are going to reach northern New Jersey and the DC area.
We're going big.
There it is. The only way to continue to keep going big, big, big is to tell a friend, make a friend, be